welcome. Thank you guys for tuning in. Today we are going to run through the volleyball captains meeting virtual. A little different than how we've done it in years past, but we wanted to get all this information out to you guys. We are certainly excited to get the season rolling. We're going to get going June 1st. So today we're going to run through the basic rules, information you guys need to know, and then COVID-related safety precautions we are putting in place so we can have fun this summer. I also have Will. He is our new volleyball, bocce, beanbag, and spikeball coordinator. We're excited to have him. He's been with Skyline for a couple of years now. Will, if you'd say hi to everyone.
Thanks, Corey. Yeah, my name's William Vogel. I know just about everything about Skyline after working here for the last few years, so feel free to hit me with questions about anything outside or inside. I should know it, so yeah.
So we are certainly excited to have Will be out on the decks this summer. He'll be walking around, can take care of all your guys' questions. He'll be the ones responding to emails, answering your phone calls. So certainly get to know Will. He's a great guy. He's going to make sure you guys have a ton of fun this summer. So without further ado, we're going to dive into our presentation here and get you guys up to speed on what to expect for the summer. All right, so let's get started here. As I mentioned earlier, we are going to start June 1st. A little bit different this year. Everything will be starting June 1st. That's volleyball, bocce, beanbags. And you know, we're excited because the weather should hopefully be nicer. Normally volleyball gets going in May. This year starting in June. Hopefully it's nice and we don't have those cold, snowy days like we've ran into in the past. So starting out, I want to introduce our management team that'll be taking care of you guys. You guys met Will, the league coordinator. Will, can you say hi again?
Hey guys, you have my information up top here, wvogel@skylineleagues.com, and then you can call my work phone at any time. And if I don't answer, leave me a message. I'm usually around 3 till about the end of the leagues, about 10 p.m., something like that.
Also out on the decks and in the facility will be the operations manager, Jake Mertz. A lot of you guys would be familiar with him. He's been around for years. And we also have a new addition to our team this year, Susie. She's our front house manager. She'll be taking care of kind of all your guys' needs out there related to the beverage and food side of things. So Will can help you guys out with any of your league related questions, and Susie can help you out with any of your food or beverage questions. Next here we have weather cancellations. This is always a hot topic every year. First and foremost, we do not make any calls until 5 p.m. We'll get a ton of calls throughout the day if it's raining. Hey, are you guys going to cancel? We do not make those calls until 5 p.m. So if you do happen to call, we will tell you 5 p.m. We will communicate any weather cancellations via email, text, Facebook group, Facebook page, and in the league app. Whether you have that on your phone via the app or you log on to the website. So we do a very diligent job in getting that message out as soon as we make that call. We do only cancel for lightning. So if it is raining out, we will play. So if it's raining pretty hard out and there's no lightning in the area, please expect to show up and play. Like I mentioned, we do communicate that. The moment we cancel, we make an announcement in the facility if it happens to be during play, and we will also send that out via these different avenues if we make that call at 5 p.m. We highly encourage captains to add their teammates to their roster. Anyone that is in our system and they opt into emails will receive those. That's kind of the best way to get that information. Or if you download our app, the game will show up and be marked as canceled. So that's weather cancellations. Next we have weather delays. And weather delays happen when weather moves into the area during the league play. Basically, we try to delay, we're monitoring the weather. We'll first make the call if lightning moves into the area and it becomes an issue for play and a safety factor. We'll ask everyone to come inside. So when we do make that weather delay, we do ask that you guys come inside or at least get under a covered area. We're making that because we feel the lightning is too close to our facility. If we're watching the storm and it looks like it is going to pass in a relatively short time frame, we delay. So a lot of times with thunderstorms in the summer, they pass through really quick. We delay for 15, 20 minutes and then we get started. So the normal process is we will delay for about 20 minutes. And at that time, if it looks like it's going to move out, then we will get things started. If it doesn't, we are going to delay again. We will delay up to twice. After that, if games get pushed back too far, we do end up just canceling the night. So the positive with delays, 2-for-1s. So you guys can have an extra drink. It's a good time. And it does not affect standings. If we happen to get our 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock games in, but 8 and 9 o'clock games can't play, that's certainly fine. We do not make those up. So just to be clear, we do not make up any games that are canceled. But what we do is we take a win percentage. So we'll base standings off how many games played and won, and we update that in the league app. Moving on here, next we have basic information. Will you run us through that?
Yeah, for sure. So we'll start with game times. Game times are 6, 7, 8, and 9. It's a little bit different than previous years. We'll dive a little bit into that later. We'll get into the scoring's the same. Regular season is rally scoring, 3 games to 25 with a 25-point cap. 1 point is awarded for each game won, so there's 3 points a night. Playoffs, double elimination, best 2 out of 3. First 2 games to 25, cap 27. Third game to 15, no cap, win by 2. So your basic stuff that we've been doing for the last couple of years.
Thanks, Will. Let's dive into league rules next. We will start with rec. So just going to hit on the high points here. All our leagues allow for up to 6 players, maximum of 3 guys on the court at any point in time, and minimum of 3 players. The unique rules for rec, there's kind of 2 that are different. The first one is you must serve underhand. So all serves are done underhand in rec, and the other big difference is 2 males may contact the ball and then send it over the net. So it can go guy, and over the net. In intermediate, that's a little different. We'll touch on that next as we move into that here. So intermediate rules, we have 2 different intermediate levels. We have intermediate lower and intermediate upper. We'll start with intermediate lower. Once again, you can have up to 6 players on the court. You can play with a minimum of 3. You are allowed to rotate in players. If you have more than 6 players on your team, that's certainly not a problem. So the 2 rules that make intermediate lower different from rec would be the way you can contact the ball with males. So in intermediate lower or intermediate upper, 2 males cannot contact and send the ball over. So it can't go guy over the net. If a guy hits it and passes it to another guy, it has to go to a female to be sent over the net. That is an intermediate rule. In rec, just kind of stepping back, rec, it can go guy, and over. You would not have to pass it to a female. So it definitely gets the females a lot more involved in the intermediate levels. And so that's a big difference. And then the other one is you may serve overhand or underhand. So that is at your discretion. Certainly pause this slide if you want to take a peek and read through these more in detail. Next we have intermediate upper. Once again, maximum of 6 players, minimum of 3. It does follow the same rules as far as the guy hit rule, so it can't go guy, and over. And once again, you are allowed in intermediate upper to serve under or overhand. The one thing that you kind of see uniquely in intermediate upper, a lot of teams like to play with 4. And the one specific rule for that, teams with 4 people, the server is a back row player. So what does that mean? That means who's ever serving the ball cannot be up on the net striking it or spiking it. So if you serve it, you can come up and run and block, but you cannot be attacking the ball at the net. More so that happens with male players. They're the ones up there striking the ball. And so if a male serves it, he cannot run up to the front of the net after the serve and strike the ball as in a spike. But he can run to the front of the net and block. So those are kind of the major differences between all the leagues. The last one I'm just going to throw up here quickly is advanced. That one's a little bit unique. I'm not going to touch on much here other than that's played with 4 players. It's done on Monday night, and they self-ref. Here's the rules. If you guys have any additional questions, please reach out to Will. He can send the rules for whatever league you're playing in, or he can kind of walk through in detail, help you guys understand those. Moving on, general rules.
All right, so first, no body contact with the net. It's pretty basic.
Setting the serve is legal, however, attacking or blocking the serve is illegal. So to kind of dive into that a little bit more, that's always another kind of hot topic, how that works. What that means is when a serve comes over the net, a player is allowed to set it, and a set would be considered the ball heads upwards. A player is not allowed to have their feet leave the sand in a setting motion, so hands above the heads. You can't jump up and put the ball back over the net. You could pass it to one of your players. It'd also be illegal if you block at the net when the serve is coming over. The refs will be out there calling that, and if you guys have any additional questions, or want that further explained, certainly stop Will. He can help you out on the decks.
All right, so third here, players may not enter an adjacent court to play the ball. So say you're falling into another court and you want to play the ball. The second you touch that court or touch that spot, the point goes to the other team.
Back row attackers must jump from behind the 10-foot line. That's a judgment call. It's always a tough one for the refs. They'll give you guys warnings first, but no attacking the ball. So that's a spiking motion in front of the 10-foot line.
Another judgment call is if a ball visibly comes to rest in a player's hand, a carrier lift will be called. And this gets controversial sometimes, but you should be able to call yourself on this.
And we have asked our refs to be consistent. So obviously each night you're going to have different refs on your court. We do our best to make sure we have the same ref week in and week out, so you guys get to know these refs, get a feel for how they're going to call it. Each ref is going to view a lift a little differently, but we do ask that they call it consistent for both teams. So even though it might vary from ref to ref, it should be consistent throughout the whole game. Any balls that touch the part of a line on the court is considered in. If a player on your team is out of bounds and the ball hits them, it is also considered in. Everything else is out. So this is always another one that comes up. A player's tracking the ball, all of a sudden they realize they're outside the court, they don't want to play it, and it hits them. That would be considered in, and the point would be awarded to the other team.
All right, on the next slide here, general rules continued. First off, a block touch doesn't count towards the 3 touches allowed. You're still allowed to play that.
If a player contacts the ball twice in the motion of playing the ball, it will be ruled a double contact. Once again, judgment call. We do ask the refs to be consistent throughout the game. It's going to vary from ref to ref how they view that, but it will be called.
No kids allowed in the sand.
This is always a big one every year. We have had issues with this in the past. We bring it up every year. A lot of adults, players, league members are out here to have fun and get away from their kids and enjoy some adult time. We are a bar, an entertainment facility. People are out here to kind of relieve some stress from the week, enjoy. So we want to be respectful of that. And we also want to keep the kids safe and the players safe. There's just been incidents in the past where we've had kids out digging in the sand, even if it's next to the stairs, and all of a sudden a player's tracking a ball and they run over a child. So we don't want that to happen. Parents, please either leave the kids at home or make sure you have someone there to keep an eye on them, and we cannot have them in the sand at any point throughout the night playing in it. Even if a court is inactive and the court adjacent to it is playing, we don't want those children playing in the sand. Just in case that ball happens to come their way, a player's tracking it, we don't want that child to get hurt.
All right, if another ball enters the court, the play will be whistled dead and a redo will be executed.
And finally, every team will be allotted one 30-second timeout per night. And then we have roughly 2 minutes in between game times. This year with the different game times, this should go a little bit better, but we do ask you guys to be respectful. We want you guys to grab, a beverage, rehydrate in between each game. But if we could limit it to 2 minutes, we just don't want those 8 and 9 o'clock games to get started too late. Just out of respect, when you're playing at 9 o'clock, you would hate for that game to start at 9:30. How we accomplish this is by, keeping these games rolling throughout the night. Next, we have refs. So ref fees are staying the same again this year, $6 per team per night. That is to be paid to the ref. The other thing, we are going to go through extensive training as we do every year. We've been very fortunate to get quite a few refs who play volleyball, so are very familiar with the rules. A lot of these individuals are either high school or college players. They play on, different volleyball teams throughout the summer, so they are very well versed in it. We have a lot of UMD club volleyball players as well, so we're very happy with our refs. We take the time to train them before the season, we run through, but the big thing we want to remind you is that they are people too. Yes, we do have high school and college kids out there, and so we do understand they may not execute the way we would prefer, day in and day out, but please let Will know that. These high school and college kids, we can't be yelling at them. I get it. I play. I've been there. I've been frustrated with the call. It's like, come on, what was that? But we do ask you guys to refrain, that the captains speak with the ref if they're having issues, but ultimately bring all that to Will, and he will take care of it. He's out there helping you guys, but he's also monitoring, making sure the refs are doing their job, that they're not on their phones. So any of those complaints, please direct to Will. If you guys feel like you had a bad experience one night, shoot him an email. Let us know what time, what court. He'll look into who the ref was. He'll speak with them. Please give us, any of that feedback. How we are able to help them learn and help them do a better job is to know what they're kind of miscalling. So although we do keep an eye on it, you guys as players, we're looking for you guys to help us out with that, but please direct that towards Will and he will take care of it. Next, we have forfeits. First off, please let us know if you can't make it. Please shoot us an email, give us a call. The more time, the better. We have teams that come from Hinckley, teams that come from Two Harbors. So there's nothing worse for them as when they drive an hour to come here to play and they have no opponent to play. And so we really want to prevent that. We ask that you guys notify us, shoot us an email, give us a call, let us know. There is a $12 forfeit fee, and what that is, that all goes to the ref. The ref has to be here regardless of if your team shows up. Even if we know ahead of time, let's say your game's at 7 o'clock, they have to be here for the 6 o'clock game, they have to be here for the 9 o'clock game, we are going to pay them, and it's an incentive for teams to show up. We get you guys want to play, that's why you signed up. We want your opponent to show up so you guys can have a fun night. Paying a forfeit fee, that is done through Will. Please do not pay the refs, pay it directly to Will, that way he can get it to the ref that worked the court. These payments can be made the following week. No need to stop in the next day to get them paid. We certainly can wait till the next week and get that taken care of. If you know ahead of time, if you know a week before, hey, my whole team, we're going on vacation together, we will not be around, let Will know a week ahead so he can let the opponent know. Feel free, if you want, you can pay those forfeit fees ahead of time. He'll get it to the ref who's reffing that court and get that all taken care of. But any forfeit questions, any ref questions, all can be directed to Will. Shoot him an email, give him a call, and he'll get you guys taken care of.
All right, subs and rosters. Subs are allowed. The reason, someone might be busy, you need a sub, that's totally fine. Rosters are to be completed by playoffs. You can do this on the website by inviting them via email or come talk to me, The reason for this is that once they're on the roster, they can receive our communications about weather, any delays, blah, blah, blah. There you go. Corey, you want to talk to us about the Skyline app?
Certainly. So, Skyline app, we got this last year. We've made improvements to it, so we encourage everyone, all captains, team members, to download this app. You can do it via the App Store or Google Play. type in Skyline Leagues and download the app, create an account. If you already have an account with League Apps via a web platform, that'll be your login. But there's tons of features on there. The whole season schedule is posted on there. You can see standings. There's also some fun ways you can see if other players on your team plan to attend. You can message each other and more. So certainly check that out. It's a great way to have that on your phone. Always know when you're playing, you know, what your standings are and who's going to be attending. So certainly utilize that. Finally, questions and suggestions. We've covered a lot here today, but if we happen to miss anything or you guys have additional questions or suggestions, certainly let us know at info@skylinelanes.com. We plan on compiling all those. If there's enough, we'll do another video, or if not, we'll just put a post out there and we'll certainly get all those questions answered. We are planning on doing a separate video on safety procedures and how we plan to reopen due to the COVID-19. So we'll have a separate video covering all that. We're really excited about some of these safety procedures we've come up with, and hopefully we'll be able to open real soon. With that being said, Will, any last thoughts from you?
No, I appreciate everybody watching and tuning in. Hopefully this video helped. Feel free to hit us with any questions, and I'm excited to meet everybody. Hopefully we can see you all here soon.